Sometimes your lizard brain can be trusted. Weird, not weird. I shouldn't call it weird. Like, until I am cold in the ground, I will not shut up about it. Large sheets of his skin begin to peel from his body. I love that, but look at cool cover. Obsessed with him. Hi, I'm Sam. There's quite literally no one asking me to do this, but I have acquired quite a few books this year, most of them pretty recently, so I thought it would be fun for me to share the books that I picked up so you can see if they interest you and you might also want to pick them up. Many of these are from my favorite indie bookstore in the US called Prairie Lights. I've gotten quite a few comments recently asking me how I find my books, so I think I'm going to make a video detailing sort of like my process and what I look for. Basically just how I find books that I'm pretty sure I know I'm gonna like and I'm gonna actually read. All that to say, indie bookstores are usually where I find some of my best reads. But the first one is Calls May Be Recorded by Katerina Faulkner. Really, what intrigued me was, first of all, the epigraph. That's a big one for me. The epigraph of this is, instead of committing suicide, people go to work. And that's from Thomas Bernhard's correction. And honestly, when I read that epigraph, I immediately went to the Bees to see if Thomas Bernhard's correction was available. And unfortunately it wasn't, but that really intrigued me to want to read not only this, but also that book. But then also the first page of this book, the first paragraph, is just fantastic. If you are going to shit yourself, it's most likely to happen on your own doorstep. Just as your cat, as you carry it home from the vet, will suddenly grow violent inside its carrier, sensing its imminent freedom and the smells of a territory it fought many dirty battles over, so too will your bowels surrender the moment you can picture the comfort of a familiar toilet seat. So this is about a man named Jimmy who works in a London call center, fielding complaints from dissatisfied travelers. Honestly, that's kind of all I need to know. I have already started reading this one and I'm really liking it so far. Next is one that was almost completely a cover by. That is Man-Hating Psycho by Eugenia Ball. I saw this cover even before reading the synopsis. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be buying that. I'm gonna be reading that. But then, to my dismay, I realized that this is actually a short story collection. For those of you who are not caught up on the Super Blomper lore, I infamously hate short story collections. There was like this internal battle happening in the bookstore aisle where I was like, Sam, it's stupid for you to buy this because you don't like short story collections. Like, just look at the statistics. But then my more impulsive lizard brain obviously won, because I was like, but look at cool cover. I admittedly did read like the first few pages of the first story to make sure I at least vibed with the writing. And I am very pleased to report that I am like halfway through and I'm actually liking this. When I like think about picking this up to read this, don't feel the normal dread that I normally feel when I'm in the middle of short story collections. So, I don't know, sometimes your lizard brain can be trusted, I guess. But this is really just about the scorched social landscape of late-aughts London with biting wit and a keen ear for the deranged logic of digital life. So yeah, so far the stories have really just been about like young 20-somethings trying to navigate life and friendships and work and sort of just like living under the grinding heel of late-stage capitalism. So yeah, against all odds, guys, I'm liking a short story collection. Next, I finally picked up Isadora by Amelia Gray. Again, if you're not caught up on the Super Blomper lore, I famously am obsessed with the book Threats by Amelia Gray. And I have tried to read this before, because this is her only other novel that she has. But this is like biographical, historical fiction kind of book. So it's very different tonally and plot-wise, where Threats was like, we're following this deranged man following the death of his wife. This is like fictional biography about Isadora Duncan, who was a real-life dancer in 1913. So yeah, I have tried to read this before. I think I tried to listen to it on an audiobook and it wasn't working for me, so I just love Threats so much, so I feel like I have to at least give this a really fair shot. So I am gonna try a physical copy and see if I vibe with it, because yeah, I have not shut up about Threats since I read it, and I never will. Like, until I am cold in the ground, I will not shut up about it. So that's that. And then again, this is sort of like spoiling my future video that I'm gonna make about how I find books that I know I'm gonna like. But something that I do is stalk my favorite authors on Goodreads, other reading tracking apps, to see what books they love and what books they're reading. Obviously, if I love their writing and like their brain, I wanna read what they're reading. So the next two are two that Amelia Gray read and loved. So the first of those is Leaving the Attaché Station by Ben Lerner. I didn't really know what this was about, but I just like trust Amelia Gray with my life. So the synopsis says, Adam Gordon is a brilliant, if highly unreliable, young American poet on a prestigious fellowship in Madrid, struggling to establish his sense of self and his relationship to art. In prose that veers between the comic and tragic, the self-contemptuous and the inspired, Leaving the Attaché Station is a portrait of the artist as a young man in an age of Google searches, pharmaceuticals, and spectacle. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good to me. So that's one that Amelia Gray read and loved. And then the second one is A Loving, Faithful Animal by Josephine Rowe. There goes my bookmark. I did try to start reading this, but then I think I got distracted, but I did like what I read. This one is more of like a family drama, I think. It is New Year's Eve, 1990, in a small town in Southeast Australia. Rue's father, Jack, one of thousands of Australians once conscripted to serve in the Vietnam War, has disappeared. This time, Rue thinks he might be gone for good. As rumors spread of a huge black cat stalking the landscape beyond their door, the rest of the family is barely holding on. So yeah, probably dealing with like PTSD. Yeah, and kind of just like the effects of war, not only on like soldiers, but also like the families that they leave behind and or come back to. That was the summer a sperm whale drifted sick into the bay, washed up dead at Mount Martha, and there were many terrible jokes about fertility. So yes, I'm hoping I love this one as much as Amelia Gray did. Next is Wrecked by Alex Gonzalez. This one I had never heard of, but I was intrigued by the weird title. A disturbing examination of toxic masculinity and the darkest pits of the internet. Alex Gonzalez's Wrecked traces a young man's algorithmic descent into depravity in a future that's nearly here. I was also pretty intrigued by this because this includes sections that are written like old green text internet posts. I think that they were posted on like 4chan. Basically, they were just like posted on like the absolute gutters of the internet. Just like the worst possible people saying the worst possible shit. Completely unmoderated. So yeah, I am very interested to read this. Very intrigued to see how I like it. I really like reading about toxic masculinity, and I really like reading about the effects of internet and media consumption on mental health and sort of like the degradation of one's morality or like one's sense of what's right and wrong. Next is one that is like so random and kind of hard to explain, but I am subscribed to Super Eyepatch Wolf. He doesn't make a lot of book content, but he recently had a video about the bizarre world of fake video games. And in that, he was talking about people who basically write manuals for fake video games. And that's what this is. So Mock Soul is not a real video game, but in this, it basically goes through the story as if you were playing. So there's a lot of these awesome illustrations, so much world building. It's almost like a graphic novel in some ways. I don't know, I was just so intrigued by that concept. Basically, the basis of the game is that you start out playing as this parasitic worm. And again, I say you start out playing, but again, this is not a real video game. This is literally all just like written in this book. It's fake. So in this fictional game, you play as a parasitic worm and you choose the host that you want to infect. Okay, you are going to infect the mutilated serf. So then you're navigating this world through the eyes of this parasitic worm that has infected and is controlling this mutilated serf. But then what really sold me on this is that in Super Eyepatch Wolf's video, he talks about how in the story, you come across the hunter and you're learning about the hunter, and then suddenly you flip the page and your view changes to looking at these rotted corpses of a pig and a deer, just like infested with maggots. That's your POV. And you don't really realize what's going on until you realize that the hunter basically killed your host, and ate you. So now you as the parasitic worm have infected and are following the hunter. So I don't know, just like so bizarre, so weird. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give that a shot because that seems very interesting and very up my alley. So yeah, I hope I like this one. I'll let you know. Next is The Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson. I'd never read anything by this author. I think they're a pretty popular horror author. This is about a woman who inherits this old estate, and she's like excited because she is trying to escape her husband. So she's like, cool, I have a new place to live and kind of like seek refuge. But then I think her son, of course, like the kid is able to see like, oh, this place is actually kind of creepy and haunted. It says, something lurks beneath the soil, ancient and hungry, with the power to corrupt hearts and destroy souls. And Nellie's return is about to wake it up. Cool. I'm all for corrupting hearts and destroying souls. Again, the freaking epigraph got me so intrigued, and that is what a good epigraph is supposed to do. Tell me a story of things hoped for, things dreamed. I will convince you it is a story of horrors. And that's by James Green from The Nameless Traveler. I don't always have the most luck with contemporary horror, so we'll see. I hope I love it. Next is one that I'm pretty sure a subscriber recommended, and I've been meaning to read for so long. So that is Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi, and this was translated from the Arabic by Jonathan Wright. From the rubble-strewn streets of US-occupied Baghdad, Hadi, a scavenger and an oddball fixture at a local cafe, collects human body parts and stitches them together to create a corpse. His goal, he claims, is for the government to recognize the parts as people and to give them proper burial. But when the corpse goes missing, a wave of eerie murders sweeps the city. Hadi soon realizes he's created a monster, one that needs human flesh to survive, first from the guilty and then from anyone in its path. That sounds freaking awesome. I am a little daunted. Honestly, whenever a book starts out and gives like a list of characters, that does worry me a little bit, because part of me is like, oh, did you just like not write the book well enough to like introduce the characters, and like did you not write them well enough for us to remember who they are? I hope the characters are well written and memorable. Obviously, I hope it's good, so I will let you know. Next is one that I'm really excited about. I feel like I've been like trying to find a book that is like the movie Perfect Blue for so long, and we've had a couple books come out recently where it's like kind of exploring the dark side of idol culture, but none of them have like totally captured what Perfect Blue did. And I don't know, maybe that's like such a tall order and like an impossible order. Anyway, all that to say, I picked up Idol Burning by Rin Usami, and this was translated by Asa Yoneda. This is about a girl named Akari who is a high school student, and she's really obsessed with this idol named Masaki Ueno. And she's like obsessed with him. She maintains a blog, she collects every piece of information she can in order to understand him and see the world through his eyes. And then there are allegations that come out about him that he has assaulted a fan. And then Akari basically devotes her entire blog to defending the idol, because of course she knows him so well and he would never do anything like that. There's also these illustrations all throughout, so I am a sucker for a good illustration. I have been known to enjoy an illustration. So I'm really excited for that. I hope it's good. I really like the cover. I think it's very pretty, and I will let you know if it's good. Next is Brat by Gabriel Smith. This is one that has been recommended to me a couple times, I think by like several people. So it's sort of been like kind of in my orbit, but I'm finally bringing it fully in. This might be sort of like autofiction, because it says the protagonist's name is Gabriel. He is mourning the death of his father as well as a recent breakup and struggling to finish writing his second book. He moves back into his parents' house to clear it out to sell it. Oh, it seems like it's going to be kind of body horror too then. As the overgrown house deteriorates around him, so does his own health, and large sheets of his skin begin to peel from his body. Cute. Part ghost story, part grief story, flirting with the autofictional mode while sitting squarely in the tradition of the Gothic. I was in the waiting room, then I was in the examination room. There was a chair and another chair and a hydraulic doctor bed. Sit down, the doctor said. I didn't know where. Not on the bed, he said. I sat on a chair. I think I have a concussion, I said. Why do you think that? The doctor said. My nephew hit me. He hit you? In the nose, then in the back of the head. How old is he? The doctor said. 14, I said. Okay, he said. Take off your shirt. Really? I said. Sure, the doctor said. I unbuttoned my shirt. He shone a light in my eyes. The light was on the end of a cone. The cone was set at 90 degrees on the end of a metal rod. It looked like a thing dentists use for looking at mouths. No concussion, the doctor said. It didn't seem like he could tell that just by shining a cone in my eyes. Next is Swallow the Ghost by Eugenie Montague. Pretty cover. So this is about one violent event and how it impacts 3 lives. So it's like an interconnected story. We're following Jane Murphy. She's in New York at a marketing startup. I think this is going to be like another mentally ill woman because she feels trapped, ruled by her routines. So yeah, I think she's like puttering along at her job, probably hating her life, and then this like violent thing happens. So I'm excited to see what that is. Okay, now I'm like wondering, because the first chapter says Groundhog Day 2. If you don't know, Groundhog Day is where this man relives the same day over and over. So I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be like a Groundhog Day thing where the violent event happens and like maybe she is trying to prevent the violent event from happening. I don't know. I feel like the synopsis was a little vague, so I'm just going to kind of go in as blind as I can because that usually works for me. Next we have Hey Zoey by Sarah Crossan. This is about a woman named Dolores O'Shea who finds an AI sex doll in the garage, which then causes her marriage with her husband to collapse. But then when she moves the AI sex doll, who is named Zoey, into the house, she becomes oddly bonded to the doll. So I'm very intrigued by this because I liked Anibot. I know some people didn't. Anibot, we're following basically this like AI sex robot as she's navigating her relationship with her owner. But this is interesting because this will be more focusing on like a wife's relationship with the AI sex doll, and I'm assuming how they can maybe relate in more ways than she originally thought. Yeah, I think this is gonna be like kind of disturbing though, honestly. Like AI is just like a little too real, a little too freaky. It's evolving too quickly. God, this has such huge text. Why'd they do that? I think I might have accidentally got the large print edition. That's Hey Zoey. I hope I like it. I will let you know. Next is another one people have been recommending to me, I think since I started my channel. That is The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gunty. I feel like I've read this synopsis like 10 times and I just never remember what it's about. I think it's like crazy though. I think it's like descent into madness. I've also heard go into this as blind as possible, so I'm just gonna kind of like read the synopsis from afar so as not to spoil anything. We are in a crumbling apartment building in post-industrial Midwest. Okay, so we're following people in like these different apartments, and then I think C4 has 4 teenagers who we're largely gonna follow. Set across 1 week and culminating in a shocking act of violence. Okay, many stories about a shocking act of violence. Honestly, that's kind of all I need to know. I have been known to enjoy a shocking act of violence, so I hope that is the case with this as well. Next is Bad Nature by Ariel Courage. Oh, this one I'm excited about, because I can't remember who I heard this from. Someone recommended it to me and I literally encountered it in the wild like a day or two after. So this is about a woman named Hester who was diagnosed with terminal cancer on her 40th birthday. So immediately she's like, I know what I gotta do. I'm not gonna write a bucket list because I already know my one mission is to drive across the country to kill my estranged father. That is all I need to know. I don't need to read anything else. I don't care. That's fantastic. Ariel Courage knew what they were doing. That is awesome. So yes, I will be reading about Hester and her quest of murdering her estranged father and hopefully loving every second of it, honestly. Next is one, honestly, this time of year, I'm like, I need to inject as much Christmas and holiday content into my brain and eyeballs and bloodstream as possible. So in my quest to do that, I picked up A Christmas Memory by Truman Capote. I've heard this is a really good holiday short story. It also includes One Christmas and The Thanksgiving Visitor. Don't call it a short story collection, but it kind of is a collection of 3 short stories. So I've never read any Truman Capote. We all know he's a beloved writer. I love these stories. I kind of already started reading a little bit of A Christmas Memory, and I've been loving it so far. So I'm just like envisioning for me Christmas Eve, curled up, fuzzy socks, comfy PJs, nothing on my to-do list, alcohol and or hot chocolate, maybe combine them, sitting on a warm couch, fuzzy blanket, candle maybe going, cat on my lap or dog, and reading this, you know? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed me just setting the scene for you, but that is what I'm envisioning for my future. I hope that's the case. I will let you know if I like it. Okay, total tone shift, because as I've said before, I contain multitudes. We have The Plague Dogs by Richard Adams. If you have seen this movie, you may be entitled to financial compensation. This is one of the bleakest, if not the bleakest movie I've ever seen. It's freaking animated too. So like on the surface, you're like, oh, doggy. No. Richard Adams famously wrote Watership Down. I have not read that either, but I think he just loves to write stories about animals where he, I don't want to say tortures them, but they are not living easy lives. Let's say that. This is about 2 dogs who escape from a scientific research lab. They're trying to survive in the wild. But yeah, it's harrowing. It's bleak. It's like, I'm not even kidding. When my partner and I talk about the ending of the movie, we literally start crying just talking about it. And I know I've been told that the ending of the book is different than the ending of the movie. I don't know how it differs, but I'm gonna read this and find out and probably cry my little eyeballs out. Next is Will There Ever Be Another You by Patricia Lockwood. Not to brag, but I went to an author reading and signing with her, and she signed my book, and I asked her if she would write the inscription to be "To the Most Super of the Blompers." And she obliged. She didn't even ask any questions. She wasn't like, "Get this weirdo out of here." She was just like, "Say no more." So she gets it. Girls who get it, get it. If you've read Patricia Lockwood, I think like Priestdaddy, No One Is Talking About This, and then this book are sort of like an unspoken trilogy. I don't think you necessarily have to read the prior ones to read this. Like, for example, I've only read No One Is Talking About This. I've never read Priestdaddy. But all that to say, I think all three are like sort of auto-fiction. So we're sort of picking up at the end of No One Is Talking About This, which I won't spoil. But yeah, I think this takes place during the COVID pandemic, which I'm like, oh, do I really want to read about that? But it's Patricia Lockwood, so fine. But I think she got really sick and was sick for a while. So it's sort of talking about that. I don't really know. She's a funny lady though. She's like the only one who can make me laugh out loud, but then also like sob bitterly in the same book. So I'm gonna read it and let you know if I love it. I'm anticipating that I will. Next is one that I randomly found at this not weird. I shouldn't call it weird. Next is one that I found at this Christian bookstore that I didn't know was a Christian bookstore. I was like walking the aisles, and then I was like, oh, there's a lot of Bibles. And I was like, am I in a Christian bookstore? Yeah. Anyway, all that to say, I randomly found this collected works of Edgar Allan Poe Olive Edition, and it's like, was cheaper than the list price. So I was like, all right, I'll get that. I've actually never read any Edgar Allan Poe, but this has his short stories. Gag. I don't know why I bought so many short story collections. But Edgar Allan Poe is one where it's like, I feel like I have to force myself to read it because it's just, he's such a classic talent, you know? He's like one you gotta at least try before you die. So even if I have to like Clockwork Orange my eyes open, I'm gonna try. And then his poetry too. So yeah, cool edition. I like these olive editions. They're pretty. We'll see. I hope I like at least some of it. Next is The Tyranny of Flies by Elaine Villar Madruga. And this was translated by Kevin Jerry Dunn. Okay, so this is like, I think this is gonna be kind of cuckoo. So we're growing up on a Cuba-esque Caribbean island, and these three children, Cassandra, Kalia, and Caleb, endure life under two tyrannies, that of their parents and the island's authoritarian dictator, Pop Pop Mustache. So their dad used to be the dictator's right-hand man, and now he's not. So I think he's like exerting all of his previous power onto the children. And then the children are like, I'm going to rebel against this because I'm not going to live under tyranny. So that sounds awesome. Yeah, I had never heard of this before, but I was like, you know, I think this could be really funny and also probably shocking. So I hope that is the case. Next is Dolores by Lauren Amy Curtis. This is about a woman who collapses outside of a convent and the nuns take her in, make her a nun, and she is adjusting to her new life, but she's got a secret. She is growing a baby inside her. Dolores wasn't the name her mother had given her when she arrived in the world feet first. It was what the nuns called her because she spoke Spanish, because they knew she'd made her way to the convent from another country, via Sevilla. Dolores, the nuns had said. It was a name that referred to aches and pain. Our Lady of Sorrows. Dolores was 16 when she arrived at the convent. Her body was already awkward. Her mouth was full of crooked teeth. She did not know how to smile. When Dolores tried to smile, she looked as though she were being pinched by small, hidden hands. I love the cover. That synopsis sounds awesome. It's a short little debut. I'm gonna give her a shot. Next is one I randomly stumbled on. I had previously read the Christmas version of this and really liked it. It was like about Christmas monsters. This one is the Scary Book of Valentine's Day lore. So I think this is about like different urban legends, myths, and monsters associated with Valentine's Day. And there's always illustrations in these too, so I don't know, these are just like so fun. I find that really paying close attention to holidays while I'm experiencing them, it sort of like injects more whimsy into my life, and I don't know, just makes me feel more mindful and more grateful for living in the present. I don't know. So I feel like I've always had kind of a soft spot for Valentine's Day. I don't know, just like the cherubs and Cupid. Maybe it's just the decorations. Maybe it's just the decorations that I like, but I kind of figured, as is the case with many holidays, that it has a darker past. So I will enjoy reading about it and hopefully learning information that I can share at my next dinner party to scare and unsettle people sitting next to me. Next is Shy by Max Porter. This is the story of a few strange hours in the life of a troubled teenage boy, a dangerous young man in the eyes of a society that has largely given up on him. And yeah, I think we're just like following him as he's like considering his present situation, his night terrors, his past, and the question of his future. We're just gonna see how the weird few hours goes. I don't know, this just seemed intriguing to me. Again, it's another little shorty. I think I can get through it pretty fast. I will let you know if it's good. Okay, next I got a few vintage editions. I've never read any William Faulkner, so I got As I Lay Dying. I've heard he's kind of a difficult author to get into, but I'm hoping that this one is not a terrible one to start with. This is about the death and burial of Addie Bundren, who is being carried by members of her family to Jefferson, Mississippi to bury her among her people. So I'm assuming this is going to be like grief, Southern Gothic, family drama type story. We'll see. I love this cover though. Very pretty. So yeah, I hope Faulkner's writing vibes with my brain. We will see. Then I also got this vintage edition of The Magus by John Fowles. I really liked The Collector by John Fowles. That one is obviously more thriller, psychological horror type. This one is about a man named Nicholas who finds himself embroiled in the deceptions of a master trickster on a remote Greek island. As reality and illusion intertwine, Nicholas is caught up in the darkest of psychological games. That sounds good to me. We'll see though. This is kind of a thick boy, so we shall see. And then the last vintage one I got was Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. I got this from the library earlier this year, and I just did not get around to reading it before it was due. But I know I really want to read this one, so that's why I bought a physical copy, because sometimes that really does help me get to it faster. So we are set in the closing months of World War II in an American bomber squadron off the coast of Italy. This is supposed to be a hilarious and tragic satire on military madness and the tale of one man's efforts to survive it. Yeah, this is another like classique. Obviously, that's why I got this edition. So I hope I love it. We will see. The next one is One or Two by H.D. Everett. I had never heard of this, but it was this beautiful edition from this press I'd never heard of called Dandelion Press. Can I get some commotion? First of all, I love a paperback. I will die on this hill. But then I feel like one downside of paperbacks is that they don't usually have like a dust jacket. This one does. So it's got all this cool design, and then it has this like translucent dust jacket on it. Oh, couldn't you just die? Isn't that just awesome? And the goal of this press is to unearth lost literary gems written by women and weirdos in the long 19th century. So anyway, what is this about? This is about a woman named Frances who is desperate to lose weight before her husband's return from India in just 2 weeks. And she takes advice from a spirit to do this seance to lose weight. And she does succeed in losing weight, but then the weight that she lost turns into this spirit or some sort of entity. It just says her discarded weight has taken on a new life of its own. First of all, that is so funny and absurd to me. Even though this was written in the 19th century, I feel like this is so timely even still, because everyone is on Ozempic and all these other GLP-1 receptor agonists to try to lose weight. There is just this like obsession, this constant obsession with being thin, which whatever, I'm not going to judge you if you want to have a certain body, it's your own body, whatever, etc., etc., etc. But just sort of this demonization of fat bodies is typically what we see in the mainstream media. So then for this book to literally be demonization of losing weight, I love that. Honestly, just the synopsis was enough to make me pick it up. But then there's this passage from the editor's note that says, "The fat woman of fiction may serve as a devoted nurse or a passably good cook, but she is completely out of place in any situation, tender or tragical. No average novel devourer could be moved to drop a tear over her woe." So true. I mean, that's the tea. That is the tea. So yeah, I'll let you know if this little freaky deaky novel is any good. I hope it is. I suspect it will be. Okay, last two. Danny the Ambulance by Jared Joseph. This one, I think this one could go either way for me, but the whole synopsis is a man walks into a bar and over the course of the night realizes everyone there is named Danny. But then what convinced me to pick this up is that all of the blurbs, he changed the author's names who do the blurbs so that their first name is Danny. For example, have you ever seen Danny Wells' adaptation of Danny Kafka's The Trial? I was like, this dude kind of has a screw loose, and I get it. Like sees like, I think we're gonna vibe well. Oh, and then finally, I was like 2/3 of the way there in like actually like gonna buy it. Looked inside, it's a signed copy, and the inscription just says, "Drink more water." Okay, so I'm gonna read Danny the Ambulance and tell you if it's good. And last but not least, I picked up Fowl Eulogies by Lucie Rico, translated from the French by Daria Chernysheva. This is about a woman named Paula who is a vegetarian. Her mother dies and she inherits her mother's chicken farm. And it was her mother's last request that she runs the family business. So this vegetarian all of a sudden has to start running this chicken farm. So to still kind of like follow her own ethics and moral code as it comes to like animal welfare, she decides to come up with these intricate backstories for each chicken that she cares for before it's slaughtered. She records the chicken's life stories, adding them to the labels that decorate the vacuum-packed meat sent off to the market. But then in her village, she finds that she has few friends and many enemies. So I just thought that sounded like really wacky doodle in the best way possible. It's got chickens on the cover. I'm also a vegetarian, so I feel like I will probably relate a lot to the main character, because if I suddenly inherited a chicken farm and there was this like familial duty foisted onto me, I would probably feel very similarly. So again, we'll let you know if it's good. I hope it is. I hope these are all fantastic. Okay, that was a lot of g-dang books. I cannot physically pick all of them up at the same time, but those were some books I have acquired honestly over like the last 6 months. So this may seem like a lot. I really am not trying to promote overconsumption core. That is not me. I don't know. It's been a weird 6 months. So you can like this video if you want, comment. Have you read any of these books? Do you want to read any of these books? Let me know if you liked them or hated them, honestly. That might intrigue me even more. You could subscribe. Would love to have you. I have my end of year videos coming down the pipeline. My worst of and best of should be coming up next, I think. And I also want to make that video basically my process for finding books that I am pretty sure I will like and will actually read. So I guess if you have any specific questions about that process, you can drop them below and I'll try to address those in that video. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Love you guys so much. I will see you in whatever video I make next. Bye.